Deirdre, what are some of the key headlines, takeaways, and timeline that we can expect here?
Well, the key takeaway is that the vote is actually happening. Ballots are being mailed out today, despite Amazon's best efforts to oppose this movement. I mean, there have been text messages sent several times a day to workers at this Alabama warehouse. There's a website. Amazon even tried to, through a lawsuit, delay this vote, but it is going ahead, and we should get the results, or they should start coming in, rather, by around the end of March. And the implications, Brian, of course, are massive. This is sort of the biggest unionization effort that Amazon has ever seen on U.S. soil. There was another attempt back in 2014, but this one, at this point, has gone the furthest. So if enough vote for this effort, I guess the real threat really is to the logistics juggernaut that Amazon has built up and spent billions and billions of dollars on over the last more than decade.
Yeah, and Ina, as an article you wrote a couple of days ago, and Axios pointed out, it doesn't even have to be the whole company. It's not like the workers and the skyscrapers in Seattle are going to join in with the union. As Google has proven, it can be sort of a small group with specific goals. Do you think the seeds are being planted for this to expand to other companies?
I think we're seeing two really different union pushes. The Amazon effort is more of a traditional one. So you have factory-type workers, you have warehouse workers looking for better pay, better conditions, that sort of thing. The second type of union push that you mentioned at Google, that's really more of an effort for traditional high-skilled people, the types of people you don't generally think of joining unions. And again, in that case, they're not trying to negotiate a contract. They're just trying to have a bigger voice.
Well, so Ina, look forward. Let's say the vote, we don't know what's going to happen. The vote's happening. Let's say it passes. They get this win in Bessemer, Alabama. What's next?
So first, those workers, as part of that new union, would have to negotiate a contract with Amazon. So that would give them the right to negotiate a contract. They'd still have to do that. I think the bigger question is, how much do we see this spread? And I think for there, we want to pay attention to what's going on in Alabama for sure, but also what's going on at Google. So with Amazon, you might see that spread. And certainly that's Amazon's concern, because don't forget, Amazon has a lot of warehouse workers, they own Whole Foods. They have a lot of workers that if they unionized in a traditional way would be a more powerful labor voice. And certainly Amazon, like a lot of companies, is doing everything they can to keep that from happening. When we talk about Silicon Valley and tech unionizing, that's where I'd really pay attention to this Google effort. It's a very different kind of union. It's what's known as a minority union. They're accepting temporary workers, contractors, managers. So it's very different. What they want to really have is more of a voice. And they want a voice not just in the types of stuff that unions often have a say in, but also in things like what types of business the company does. Does it do work for the military? Does it do facial recognition?
Deirdre, what's Amazon's take? Are they saying anything publicly? Are they fighting this thing sort of quietly, politically, internally? I'm sure they care, but what do we know about their position?
They care deeply, and they are fighting it fiercely. We actually got a hold of one of the text messages that the Amazon side is sending to warehouse workers, and it says, "Did you know during union negotiation, no one can guarantee or predict the outcome of collective bargaining?" It goes on to say, everything's on the table. You may end up with more, the same, or less. So these are the types of efforts that they're throwing at this. And as Ina points out, this is, an important movement within tech companies. For so long, they've been able to grow sort of unfettered, and that includes, from white-collar workers to blue-collar workers. And this could really shape the way that Amazon does business. And, Brian, it's also worth noting that this could be a major challenge for Andy Jassy, the incoming CEO, in his first year taking over from Jeff Bezos.
I was just, I don't know, you read my mind somehow, Deirdre, because you got all this happening as you and Ina have talked about, and you've got a change coming at the top in the C-suite with Bezos stepping down and Jassy coming in. There's a lot of big things on a macro level happening at Amazon right now.
For sure. I mean, Amazon is really one of those companies that's at the cutting edge of everything. And don't forget, they also operate a chain of cashierless convenience stores that don't have cashiers at all. So, Amazon is really the future of labor. And it's why everyone is paying such close attention to this.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.